I can see some of you guys in the attendance. Good morning, fantastic. If you want to give me a thumbs up if the sound is good for you. Good morning, Chloe. Good morning, and the sound is good, fantastic. Oh, what's happening here? Apologies. It's good to be with you, and thank you for joining me this morning. I'm super excited. I've had such a good start to Friday the 13th, so I'm feeling really, really good, and a tremendous amounts of positive energy happening this morning. I'm excited to be with you on this third webinar in the 6 of the Best series, and today we're exploring campaigns, marketing campaigns. Some of you were with us at the Business Counts event before we went into lockdown 2.0. Some of these things were covered on that. You stream, okay, sorry, at that event, and our idea here is to keep it really simple and give you a good plan to go forward. And I'm super excited about it. So I'm going to start straight away. And I do believe we're streaming live in the Facebook group as well. So just a bit of housekeeping before we kick off. If you have any questions, if you see the box down on your right, please use the question mark. Then I don't miss any questions that you might have during this. I have Declan helping me as well, so he can pop them on the screen. And if you just want to have a comment and a chat like you've been doing as we started, just type away. And on Facebook, you will probably be able to hear, but I'm not sure you can see the presentation. So just stay tuned and see what comments we get on there. And I know Declan is monitoring that, so he can help you. And he's typing. So let's fire away on campaigns this morning. We are going to focus on campaign-driven marketing, and you can see a beautiful little description what that means. It's a collection of organized activities that are aimed at a specific target audience to center around a specific message to sell a product or a service. So to have a campaign-driven mindset is to be organized and to really understand what you want to get out of the message that you're sending. And a couple of the things that we often see in terms of marketing is maybe a little bit more spontaneous and random messages being sent out. And my goal today is going to be to hopefully give you a campaign-driven mindset to organize all of your activities, to in the long run will make it easier for you and get a more effective marketing moving forward. So today's aim is quite simple: to understand why we need to run a digital marketing campaign, know and understand what our digital audience are. The good news here is, just like we are now sitting and doing this online, majority of our clients have some form of digital presence. It's very difficult today to do anything without having being online in one way or another. So it says good news, because if you remember, for anyone that attended Business Counts last year, one of the things, one of our messages there were, people are being used to, getting used to, I should say, a certain behavior online, not just because of us and what we do in our industry, but what is just generally happening, such as banking, shopping, etc. So that's all good news for us. We want to have an idea how we can reach our existing and new clients. So we're going to look at those channels that you are already fully aware of, and hopefully utilizing most of those. And then have a simple plan to manage digital marketing moving forward. And that is really key to me. One of the things I want you to go away with today is the ability to, if you not already have a campaign sitting and listening to this, you will have a campaign as we start, and hopefully we'll have tons of ideas moving forward. And we're going to follow a super simple 5-step plan. We're going to find out why and the purpose of our campaign. So what is it we want to achieve? What is it we want to market? And what do we want to achieve with that particular message. We're going to look at how we can understand and see who our customers are, what our audience is, and what audience we might want to engage with on a particular campaign. We're going to look at strategy and the channels we're going to use to deliver this message. We're going to look at production and content, so we understand what we can utilize, how we get it, where we can get it from, and how we can create content to share with the audience. And lastly, the reporting and monitoring of the campaign. And I think that is a massive key. For me, when I look at campaigns, what we do at Passion, I always look at number 1 and the last one, number 5, as two of the more important parts, and hopefully in other words, what are we going to do? Why are we doing it? And then the reporting part. And that's really the difference between a campaign and random acts of marketing, such as firing away a post. And let me bring you this message. This was information shared by one of the leading software companies or booking systems. Oh, Dan, go back. I can indeed. Sorry, Matt, were you taking a picture of that one? You were indeed. Okay, there you go. Thank you. So let's look at this message here. That's shared with us with one of the leading software booking systems here in the UK. And we're looking at the reality of 10 clients. And I think this is super important and really interesting information to look at. So out of 10 clients, 4 will return for a second visit. 2.5 will return for a third visit. And after 6 visits, only 1 of the original 10 will remain. So message here is a single focus just to attract new clients is not going to grow your business. Really, really important. It's not to say that we do not try to attract new clients. Of course, we do need to do that. But I think it's a really important aha to have in mind when we are creating campaigns to understand the audience and the wider audience and what a purpose is. And what would be really interesting, it doesn't really matter if you are a salon or a solopreneur working as a freelance. This campaign, this easy 5 steps is going to be suitable for all of you. But it would be really interesting, even if you don't share out loud, but if I was in a salon, I would like to maybe compare what it looks like for 10 new clients with the numbers I'm getting in my salon. So that could be an interesting activity for you to have a look at. This visual here was slightly adapted. It was shared with me from a friend of mine, and I think this particular image here, I think, showcases probably what most of us do. What most of us do when it comes to marketing. We can see we have our clients and we have our various channels where we send our messages. So we have computers with emails, we have our social media, we have our phones, which also includes both of those things, and we have our salon. And what tends to happen quite often when you don't have an organized and thought out campaign is that you quite, let's call it randomly, shoot messages to your clients via one of these platforms, whether it's in the salon or on your phone. And it tends to be somewhat haphazard and random, and not necessarily have any form of thought behind it, other than, my favorite example at this moment in time, as we are in prior to lockdown, was this idea of copper hair. So many people are just randomly snapping and sending pictures onto their Instagram and Facebook on some beautiful hair, and it's copper hair, but it's no real thought and strategy behind it. Now, really important, I am not suggesting you're not sharing beautiful hair on your various social medias. Of course you should do, but what I think any solopreneur, freelancer or salon should have in mind is to have a thought out campaign and still do the organic and spontaneous post that you might want to do. So super important visual what might want to look at. And what one of the things when we discuss any form of marketing, a lot of that is going to be digital. is this very noisy out there. It's super, super noisy. I am pretty sure on your social media, your inbox, there are things that you are just constantly bombarded with. And majority of you, probably like I, will either delete, flick through, swipe, whatever action you need to do, depending on the platform, on things that's not grabbing you straight away. So if we have a very random strategy of just posting when it feels right, when something looks good, etc., it's very likely and very possible that people are just swiping us away, deleting us before they actually take in whatever message that we are doing. So what we want to try to do today is avoid this kind of approach where our clients is out there, we have a different channels and we just pointing at them. And what we want to try to achieve is something more looking like this, where all of our channels, whether are in the salon, which is beautifully represented by a black and white, almost looking like a butcher shop actually. What we do in the salon, what we do on the phone, what we do on our computers, and what we do on social media should be far more encompassing and strategic and consistent messages for our clients. And that's our goal today. So rather than just point at an audience and shoot randomly, we are going to try to organize ourselves and find a consistent message that's going to bring us better long-term business and you know, for our clients, you know, I've seen a few things happening in the last few weeks that's been really interesting, and leading up to this particular webinar, I've been thinking and paying attention to this a lot. Is in the first lockdown, when we first had to lock down for the summer, there was it was a tremendous amount of positive activity, I'm going to call it, on social media, email, etc., in terms of videos. Salons were doing videos of the team, sending messages to their clients, hoping they were safe, and all of these things that were happening. There was a lot of how to do your hair at home. It was so many different kinds of messages consistently done by salons, and it was really impressive. It was really nice to see, and the salons I've been speaking to have had really good feedback, and of course we kickstarted the Salon Love campaign, so people were buying products. But as soon as we opened on July the 4th, it sort of stopped. It sort of very quickly went back to the randomness of posts, etc. It wasn't as consistent as it was during the lockdown, and I do appreciate the how busy you were. I really do. You were super busy, and so were we. But I think it's an important lesson to forgive us. We had 2 million clients. Yes, I appreciate the busyness. We were busy too. What I'm trying to say is this: I think it's an important lesson to look back at and maybe take on board that if you could organize yourself and be a bit more strategic with these things when it comes to campaigns, we don't need to have that dip anymore. Whether you go into a holiday season, and I don't even want to talk about another lockdown. I'm over it. Okay, so once we're back, I'm hoping we can find some consistency in doing business moving forward. But nevertheless, if we can have a consistent campaign moving forward, we don't need to see those tremendous dips where we go from fantastic marketing in terms of digital, in this case was of course social media. We don't need to see that same dip in form again. We can keep some consistency, and I think that's going to be really important. And I appreciate the time that we have currently. I think, however, we're going to be busy again when we open again on December the 3rd, I think is the set date. I know there's a lot of debates about that. And December the 3rd is the date we're going to come back. You're going to be super busy again leading up to Christmas. So it would be nice if we could have something in place. We don't cause that dip again, because people are on social media. And if you're going to be one of those, whack-a-mole just turning up every so often, then I believe that in the long run, you're going to lose. 2 million clients and no COVID. I'm trying to follow that conversation. I probably should avoid that. So let's see if we can find a mindset and approach to do this. And what I was started saying, I've seen so many salons the last few weeks what I would perceive doing things differently based on watching. There have been so many good videos and messages from salons, and I really hope that that's going to continue as we come out of this lockdown 2.0. So let's have a look at the. I can't help but feel that we have maybe lost a slide. No, we haven't. So let's look at step number 1. Let's just move away. So if you have a strategy, a campaign that you want to do and you have in mind, by all means, be ready, have your pen and paper, and you can do that campaign. If you do not have a campaign in mind, I am doing one here. It's going to be very much a sales related campaign on Salon Love. So step number 1 is describing the why, finding our purpose. I've come up with a sales related one, which is 50 salon sales by November the 30th. And I put a bit of a subcategory in there in my mindset here, what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, of course, the client will purchase home care for themselves. But I'm also thinking that clients, I will have some sales here with client buying gifts for friends and have it sent to them. And this step of your campaign, whatever your campaign is, but I'm going to focus on this for the moment, is I want to have 50 Salon Love sales by November the 30th. There's 2 things here. I'm very specific on 2 things. The number of sales that I want to have, 50, and I have a time set, November the 30th. This step is super important, regardless of what campaign you choose to do. And if someone wants to share in the comments a campaign they might want to do or what they're currently doing, please do, so we can use those as an example. The reason is so important. If we don't know what our target, in this case sales on Salon Love, is, then we don't know when we come to the very last step, which is reporting if we're successful or not. If we don't know what the target is when we are monitoring this campaign, we don't know if we're doing good or doing bad. So when we're doing another campaign, how do we going to do this differently? The timeline, again, for the same reason, we need to have a timeline so we can know where to start and where to finish, and plan those activities in an organized way moving forward. And I just want to look at some of the comments here and see if we have any examples here. So Jody from Jody Whitson, thank you for sharing. What are you saying here? Jody wants to have all of her gift sets sold by the reopening. Fantastic. I was going to use this as one example. If you have purchased gift sets in Euphora and or Census, so let's say you have 24 gift sets in your salon, I'm just picking that number, whatever number you have, put that number in. It is a tremendous idea and a good idea to have as a campaign to sell those 24 by, in this case, Jody's doing reopening, which is December the 3rd. So you have a specific set number of products, gift sets you want to sell, and you have a timeline when you want to do that by. Once you have those 2, anything else that we're going to do today is so much easier to monitor and see how well you're doing. And it will be really interesting to see Jody, how you get on with that. If you haven't seen, I saw one of your videos this morning, Jody, and they're fantastic. The videos you've done for the gift sets looks fantastic. So step number 1, describing the why and setting the purpose of the campaign. In this case, it's a sales related one, but let me bring this in. So if you do something slightly different as a campaign. Let's say you're doing a campaign on new clients. Again, you would do the number of new clients that you would like to have into your salon, and then you would set a timeline. So you want to have 100 new clients before December the 25th or whatever it happens to be. So those 2 things, super important. If you don't set them, anything else that we do today is just going to be not necessarily meaningless activity, but it's really just going to be activity for the sake of activity, and you most likely going to be less successful moving forward. Step number 2 is who are we trying to reach? And rather than having the maybe the traditional idea of just our clients, which is very vague, we want to be a bit more specific. I have still kept it fairly easy on this one. So for this particular campaign to get 50 sales on Salon Love before November the 30th, I have done a little brief brief target audience here. I see my target audience as being female between 35 and 70. I see them as somewhat educated. I see them still in employment. I see them married with a family. They live an active and busy lifestyle. They're somewhat environmentally conscious. They probably have their bag for life when they go shopping. And I do believe that they spend money on quality. So they're not necessarily spending money just for the sake of it, but they do spend on quality. That's the target audience I like to target with this. And so if we would look at a different campaign that had something to do with hero, for example, we would go male, we would find the age bracket slightly different, and we can do this exercise. And this exercise is often overlooked with the view that as soon as we put a message out there, whether it's social media, email, etc., that all our clients, regardless of profile, will just read it and maybe or maybe not attached to it. It's a really good exercise, and we do these exercises as a passion for help, although slightly different because our audience is different. But it's really interesting to do this per campaign and see the success and trying to really understand the psychology of your clients and the target audience that you're trying to reach. And I just want to I'm just trying to catch on here because I can see there's a lot of comments, and Matt had a really interesting one there. Sound gives a lot of tailored for a young audience. Fantastic. So step number 2, who are you trying to target is not to be overlooked. And it's a fun exercise to do, and an exercise I think you need to do, especially with the different kind of services and products that you have in the salon, to understand who we are supposed to target. Let's move to step number 3. Number 3 is where we're going to do this campaign. So we have a Salon Love sales. We want to have 50 sales before November the 30th. I have worked out my target audience, and now I'm going to decide what channels I'm doing it at. And again, for the purpose of this webinar, I've decided that this is going to look like this. It's going to be emails, and I've got 2 emails that are planned for it. I'm looking to do it on Facebook, both post and do stories. Same on Insta. I want it to be on the grid, and I want to use Insta stories, and also in salon. So I'm going to use dialogue and show cards. So it's not purely a digital campaign, although majority of the activity and the channels that we have is going to happen on digital platforms. Again, this is a really important part in terms of understanding, and this is really the time saver for you. Once you know where to put your campaign and how each message will be, this is really where you save yourself time. I've got a couple of examples to help you utilize various forms of calendars, etc. And I would also like to say this, at this moment in time, I am fully aware that some of you are working with software that you probably have various, you certainly have email and text messages and that sort of stuff. You might even have a calendar on there for social media posts, etc. I am not sure. I'm fully aware that they are available. My goal today is not to get you to spend a lot of money on this marketing. So I want to do super cost effective. But it is a heads up for anyone who finds that time is somehow stopping you from creating a marketing campaign and have consistency. It might be worth looking at some of the free options. You can also pay for them. It's plenty of options out there. I don't want to mention them all. It's plenty of them. But if you Google social media planning, marketing, you will get them up there, and you can utilize them if you want to. You don't have to, and again, I don't want you to spend any money that you don't want to and you don't have, but it's important to understand that they all exist. So when we plan these things, what I did want to show you was something that is free and super cost effective, and it's actually we have a question there. Let's do the question before we move on. Can the team be briefed and primed on the salon campaign for increasing sales, upgrades, and retail before the return on the 3rd of December? Absolutely. Coming on the next step. If you are in a salon and you're doing any form of campaign, it's super important that the team is on board with this. and doing any form of calendar and planning. And when we talk about dialogue, I think the team has to be on board with it. So this a fully encompassing message from the salon as a whole, rather than just being from leadership in terms of sending emails, etc. I think planning a campaign. I'm a big fan of running more than one campaign at any time. So one can be sales related, the other one can be building relationships in your community with your salon. So I'm a big fan of more than one campaign at any moment. But whatever campaign you're doing, whether it's one or two, the team should absolutely be aware of it and say, this is our focus for the next 30 days. This is our focus for the next month. We're going to have a campaign on new clients. We're going to have a campaign on Christmas sets. All of those things are super important. And certainly when it comes to in-salon and dialogue, I think the team should be aware when emails are going out, what's in the email, what's happening on Facebook, what's happening on social media. Those things will absolutely be really, really rewarding. I have put in salon dialogue and show cards. I'm fully aware that I put November the 30th, by the way, as my deadline. So it's sort of a little bit redundant at this moment in time, unless someone is naughty and having a stylist in their salon. But it's obviously not happening at this moment in time. So let's have a look at a couple of free example, super easy example where you can do this planning. So I made a decision just to I literally did this last night. I thought, how can I share with people how to do a campaign and how to measure it and tell them it's fast if I don't do it myself. And so I did, and it took me less than 5 minutes. So I decided to, on the campaigns, etc. And you can see that I've just used a Google Calendar here. You can do any calendar. Set the starting point on the 29th. I have marked where I want to do various posts on emails and so forth. And you can do this even more detailed. You can say, I'm starting on Sunday the 29th, and I'm doing that with an email. You can go in there and you can type the email out. You can put what the video and what the post is. So you can be really detailed as you want, but just visually understanding that this is the time and date I'm going to do things. And again, this is a super simple version and way of doing things without paying for one or the different kind of paying services that you can use. My calendar has 32 days. Where's mine? Oh. I'm a bit lost there, Matt. I'm not sure what you're referring to. What's mine? 31. And let's look at one that is slightly more advanced, maybe. This is an Excel, where you will have the months on the left-hand side and the columns, and then you will have each column over, you can do them over different kinds of channels. So your email and your social media, you can put them into dates, etc. So if you're someone that likes it a little bit more detailed and in Excel format and do it a little bit more advanced, this is another way of doing that. And I've got one more example, which I quite like because it's super easy. It's still on Excel, but it's made a little bit more colorful and a little bit easier in terms of what platform from a social media point of view you can use. And again, this is for planning and have a forward-thinking strategy in terms of your campaign. If you're not paying for a service where you can do all of these digitally, and is my preferred way, is what we do with Passion for Hair, because it takes a little bit of less time. All of the planning can go into one place. This is still highly effective. And I should say this, we still do at Passion, although we have a digital platform to do these things, we very often still get ideas on pen and paper and share that with the team. We have a calendar app where we can still visually look at what campaign is starting and finishing, etc., and what is ongoing. And I personally think that's really good. Again, bringing the team back into the conversation. If you are a salon and have a team, it could be really good to have something visual from a calendar point of view to showcase what campaign is currently running, what is coming up, and so forth. It's super effective and a great way forward. So let's look at production and content. So for this particular campaign, I planned for 2 emails. So I need to type 2 emails. I plan 2 videos, so I need to either create 2 videos, or if there already is videos created for me, I need to utilize those. I need to have content description for my Facebook video, so that would be the text underneath. Underneath the post, and the same goes with I need product images. In this case, for the amount of posts that I have in mind, I need 12, and I would also need a content description for those 12, and I need a dialogue. Again, the dialogue far more important when the salons are actually back open again. But nevertheless, the dialogue will be important because some of you are still taking phone calls, etc. And most often when we discuss production and content, the time question comes in again. How do I find time? What is content? What is good content? And how do I get that to produce, to share in my campaigns? The good news is this: we do an awful lot of content for you that you can use for pretty much most of the campaigns you can think of. But I am still a big fan of creating your own content to a degree, in terms of having the face of the team, the face of you as a hairdresser, the face of you as a salon when you are talking to your audience. So I think it's still really important that at some point you do create your own content to some extent. What is really helpful is once you create email, once you have email content, you really have content for Facebook and you have a script for videos. So let me explain. If you create just one email to talk about how client can still shop with you through Salon Love, what they need to do, what's available, etc., etc. Once that email is written and sent, that is content for Facebook posts, maybe just snippets of that email. Once you have sent that email, that could be used as the script for whatever video you might want to produce from the salon. So think of content that anything you do can be upcycled and recycled on another platform. So anything that's written can be read and you have a video. Anything that's written in email, you can take a snippet and post it on social media. Just having a quick look there. And that's something that I think is probably underused, because I think the production and the content of things can often be putting people off to the degree that I don't have certain programs to create a video. I don't have, various kind of things to make it high production and look really good. I'm a big fan of a high production video with some music, etc. The one that Feathers Witham has done and shared this week is tremendous. I don't know, maybe Jody want to share how time-wise how long you spent on that. But I think it's also important to understand that just a video, not necessarily going live, but just a video on your phone is still really good quality. And that sort of natural, organic message on a phone is still really important. I think people still engage to it. It doesn't have to be high production. So you can mix and match. And I just think that's an important thing to understand. One of the most popular videos we have done during this Passion Fair done is the video that I did at this very office with Debbie doing Deox. Two things. Debbie randomly wanted to do a Deox video. She had that moment of inspiration. She said, I need to share this with the community. So pick up your phone and do a film. I even did the filming the wrong way. I did it portrait. I should have done it landscape. But we filmed it, so it was raw. It was no sound effects done to it. I filmed it the wrong way. I didn't do landscape. We posted that on social media. It's been on our YouTube channels, and it's still one of the videos that has the most views and the most comments and reactions to it. We had plenty of people getting in touch with us just to get Deox, and that was a really important lesson. That was probably the moment in time where I go, absolutely. Sometimes organic, natural, spontaneous videos are even the best, because they're showing that the message is coming from the heart. It's not it's not too much production, it's not too manufactured of a message. So have that in mind. A video doesn't have to be live to be spontaneous. It can be filmed, and you can still cut the beginning and the end, but have that in mind, and I think it's super important. And then, of course, using some of the content that Passion is sharing with you is also an opportunity. That's the reason we do it. We produce content for you guys, and I would like to go through that with you now. So if you haven't utilized p4hpro.com, then you should, certainly for content. So anyone sitting there thinking, I can't produce much content, if for any reason you're thinking that time-wise this is not accessible for you, you still have plenty of content in terms of imagery on Salon Love. So you have two ways of doing this. You can click the social media tab, was what I was looking for, tab, and you will get general sort of social media images from the various brands that we have. Or you could click on the Salon Love campaign. If you click on the Salon Love campaign, all of the tiles that we have there is Salon Love specific. So if you are running a Salon Love campaign, that's where you would get those images. And we created some, we actually created some videos yesterday. Declan, if you could put how long you spent on the video, please, in the comment there, so I know. But me and Debbie walked over to the academy yesterday, and we recorded 3 videos. I'm going to play them for you, but we probably spent approximately 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I would say, give or take. And then Declan had some inputs in terms of production. And I wanted to give you that background to understand the time investment in making these videos. They don't always have to be a 3, 4, 5, 6 hour, 30 minutes for all 3. So Declan spent 30 minutes on production on all 3 of these videos. We spent approximately 30, so call it an hour and a half if you like. So Declan, if you can play the first video for me, please.
It's lockdown 2.0. We may be closed, but we're still here for your hair and scalp needs. Whether you want to improve the condition, top up your toner, disguise your roots, or buy something for someone special, we've got you covered. Shop online at salonlove.shop or download our app, #SalonLove, to make your purchases delivered directly to your door. There's a free gift with every order, and you can message us with all of your hair and scalp needs for our professional advice and recommendation. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support.
Right, so that's the first video. So this video, again, to go out for to increase sales on Salon Love, get those orders in. 30 minutes in terms of filming, getting it right, getting the dialogue, so the script, if you like, doing the filming, sending it to Declan, and he spent about 30 minutes to do that production bit that you saw in the beginning. So that's one step onwards from just filming something on your phone and adding something to it. But again, it doesn't take that long. And the beautiful part is, once you have created a video, you have that to utilize moving forward. Declan, if you want to play video number 2, please.
Who's left on your list? Give the gift of beautiful hair. Buy the professional products that you love at our online shop, salonlove.shop. Alternatively, download our app, #SalonLove, and make your purchases for delivery direct to your door or the delivery address of your choice all over the country. There's a free gift with every purchase, and you can message us for advice and recommendations of the best solutions for you. We want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for your support.
Fantastic, Declan. Thank you. I was looking at some of the comments when that video was being played, just to tag along and make sure that I don't miss anything. And I saw that Jody didn't spend that long, 15 minutes on the video that they did. For me, I think at this moment in time where we are, and to spend as little money as possible on some of these activities is really important. But it's even, you just have to do it. I think to create your own content library of information, the face of you, the stylist, face of you, the team, it is tremendously important to build that up and moving forward. And it's so encouraging when you see a lot of salons taking those right steps in that production. And I could see a comment there where Jody said that once you get started, it gets a little bit easier. It doesn't just get easier in terms of what to do. I'm sure you've got plenty of ideas of various things you want to do in your community to highlight who you are, where you are, and to come and see you. Those ideas are always going to be there, but to put them on pen and paper or put them on, if you type it on your computer and get the content created, once you started it, it's going to be so much easier. It's going to be a snowball effect, and you're going to get used to being in front of the camera. You're going to get used to typing emails. You're going to get used to, you're going to find your language. And Abby made a comment there that she screenshots some of the emails, etc. I think it's a great idea. So once you create, really the key here is create some piece of content, and that will lead to other forms of content. So email will become a script, email will come the description on a Facebook or an Insta post, etc. Those things are really, really important, and they are fairly easy once you get started. And if you don't get started, you can always come to Passion and find some of these contents. And Debbie yesterday did a story of the video we had on Wednesday. I mean, Debbie did a webinar on the profound knowledge. We shared a video on thickening, which is I think it's 3 minutes 40. It's quite a long video to expect someone to engage with on social media. It's just too long. It's just too long. 3 minutes, not many is going to sit through those 3 minutes and 40 seconds. What Debbie did do, which was super effective and super, she was watching the video and she was taking screenshots and she was posting it in bits on the story. It looked great, was very informative, and the information was the same as the 3 minutes and 40 seconds, but in little tiny shots, coffee espresso shots, is hitting you in the face as you're going through that, and it was fantastic. So quite often, we just get too bogged down that it needs to be too complicated, and it doesn't. So Declan, if you want to play the last video we have for Debbie, please.
Right now, we're closed for lockdown 2.0. We hope that everybody is staying safe and well. And we're getting ready for opening again on December the 3rd to make our clients look good and feel great, ready for the Christmas festivities. For your Christmas appointment, visit our website and make your appointment online. We're looking forward to seeing you, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support. Merry Christmas. Right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Declan. So if we look at these, take these 3 videos as an example of running a campaign simultaneously of selling products through Salon Love. But while they're on that sort of journey of the digital journey, engaging with us on social media and on Insta, Facebook, etc., to have also simultaneously running a campaign about booking online, etc. It makes sense. It's a good sort of marriage. It's a good fit. So it didn't work for me, that last video. I think we're gonna. I'm not going to play the video again. I'm not sure why that happened. Declan, maybe you can look into why that video didn't show. But what I will tell you is this, though. The videos that we have done today, Debbie will be running these with feathers, of course. The last video she did about the online bookings, we're going to make available to you if you want to use it, and we can just take feathers away and put your salon website on there. So that's an option for you if you don't want to create your own. The other 2 Salon Love videos, again, can be utilized by you. There is no, it's not branded Passion for Hair or feathers. So if you want to utilize those as your salon videos, you can do that. And if you don't want to do that, at least you have a snapshot there that approximately 1 hour you can create a short, brief message that you can utilize in one of your campaigns. So Declan, if you can have a look why that video maybe didn't play, but again, we're going to make the videos available to you, and you can use them if you want to. If you don't want to use them, you can most certainly view them again and understand that sort of content. Yeah, and as Debbie said, that if you're not confident enough to create a video on your own, you can use those, and we just add your salon website. What I have come to learn on that point, though, I am fully aware that some people are better at video than others. Some people are just not good on video. I'm one of them. But when it comes to creating and doing social media and engaging the team, it's quite often someone that turns out to be really good or really wants to do something on social media in terms of video, but they haven't had the opportunity. They didn't know there was an opportunity. So in terms of team engagement, you might find a little superstar in your team that is just really good, just natural, funny, articulate, and doing all the things really well on video. And then you have your own superstar sort of face to do that. So if you are in a salon, you have a team with you, engaging the team, you might sort of uncover some little superstar that is have this hidden talent to do things really good on video format. So have that in mind. Let's move forward. Declan, where's my presentation? Let me go and get it. So that's resources and content. And just to summarize, please have a look at the, by all means, there's one other thing actually on content and resources. to use what Passion for Hair is using and changing the language to suit your audience, it's okay. You should do that. It's something that's called in marketing. It's called reactive marketing. When you look at what someone else is doing and you're sort of copying it to suit you, everyone does that. Even big companies do that. Reactive marketing is nothing wrong with. You should do it. It's easy. It saves time. And more often than not, but not always, it is always a good message somewhere in there where you can sort of just tag along. So it's called reactive marketing. When you look at someone else, you react to it, you copy. So pretty much a copy and paste kind of thing. Bear that in mind, because all of the manufacturers that we use, Euphora, Malibu, Senses, and Simonson, that's what we do. They create the content, we take that on board, and then we post things. So if you see things that Passion for Hair is doing or that other salons are doing, you can do that in your, it's nothing wrong with that. I would encourage you to do it. It's a good time-saving exercise. But I can't stress enough, if you can find a way of doing some of your own content for no other reason that you are in your community, your audience will see you walking down the street and doing these things. It's always good to have at least a face or two to your marketing that is from the salon. So have that in mind. But let's move on from that and look at the very last step, which is reporting. The difference between, if we go back to the beginning here, the difference between having a planned campaign versus random post messages and email is the reporting part. Step number one, we set out our purpose, we set out a target and a timeline, so it's measurable. All of the things in the middle here, however important they are, still happen to some degree because we take a picture, we see a picture, we share it, we do this, we do that. But step number one and step number 5 is really what sets all of this apart, because they make sure that the middle part is organized and thought out. That's the difference. You set a target with a timeline. You understand why you're doing that particular campaign. Everything in the middle becomes organized rather than random. And then the last bit, which is number 5, is where you do all your reporting. You monitor how well this campaign is doing. So I'm a big fan of weekly checks. So that's for me in passion. So where emails that we have sent, I will have a weekly check. If we do have a Facebook ad, for example, I will check that on a weekly basis. I will pull the plug on it if we need to, or I will run it for longer if that's the case. You can look at your sales. So when you have a sales related campaign, in this case Salon Love Sales, you can look at that. How are we doing week 1 into this? 50 is my goal, where I should be on 10, 15 sales at this moment in time. You can look at open rate on your email. How well is are your clients responding to your email? What is the open rate? Is it 50%? Is it only half? Is it 80? How many people are taking themselves off the email list? All of these things are super, super important, because what you will learn is, what am I good at? What am I doing really well? What can I change? And how can we move forward? What is the channel where my clients are responding to me the most? For us at Passion, Facebook for us, to use the social media channels. Facebook for us is by far the biggest social media engagement in terms of getting messages. We get far more people through there. So our Facebook posts tend to be somewhat different to our Instagram posts, overall. So you can look at those things. Look at your post engagements. What are the likes? What are the comments? What are the shares? What kind of engagement am I getting on this campaign versus the other one? Most likely you're going to get far more engagement when it comes to video content versus pictures. So maybe you do need to increase your videos. Maybe the videos need to have a different message than the videos you've had in the past. So the reporting part of a campaign is so important. And it becomes one of the most fun ones as well, because once you're getting into the campaign mindset, you will look at reporting from your previous campaign. You will look what was successful. You will see what wasn't so successful and what you might want to tweak. And it becomes just a really good, fun source of information to build on your next one. And it's interesting. It gives you a really good insight, transparency of how you are doing. And I think it would surprise a lot of people. It surprises a lot of people. The email side of things, in terms of open rate, I always find super exciting to see how many people have read the email. Depending on the system that you use, sometimes you can even see what time they read the emails, etc. That gives you really in-depth information. I'm sure most of for anyone who's working on a software program, you can get those things in. So have a look at that. Have a look at the reporting. So let's summarize this. Let's summarize the 5-step plan. So why is number 1. We find the purpose of the campaign. We set our target and we set the timeline. In this case, we use 50 Salon Love sales until November. It was November the 30th. So we have the timeline and we have the target. Who is your audience? Fun, super fun exercise to do. I did a fairly broad one in terms of female 35 to 70, etc. But do this if you do have a male product, a male service that you want to do. They will be very, very different. I saw Matt making a comment about targeting certain people for the young people, etc. Doing the customer research and your target audience is, 1, often overlooked. 2, it's actually quite hard in the beginning. It becomes a little bit easier, but it's a really fun activity to do to understand and learn about really trying to get into your head of your clients, and you can take this as deep as you want and have fun. Where are you going to put this? What channels are you going to use? So of course you have the social media mediums, Insta, Facebook, and all of these, TikTok, whatever channels that you are on. Please remember, email, always going to be super important. If you're working with a software, you also have text messages. Phone is one of them. So let me just bring phone into this. When we are back open again and people are on reception, if you do have a reception, I fully appreciate that everyone doesn't. The phone could be part of your marketing. In other words, when the phone is answered, etc. If you don't have a receptionist, the message, for them to leave a message, could be part of you telling the story, etc. It could be short snippets of something, and the text message side of things, of course. Production and content. Look at what we do in terms of what is available to do. Not look at what we do and just copy, but we create content in terms of image and video for you guys to use. All of the manufacturers that we work with, so Malibu, Sensors, and Euphora, they all have their own resources. And what we do to help you with this, rather than visiting each and every page, website for these manufacturers, we take that information, we put it on Passion for Hair, P4H Pro, I should say, and put all of that information in one place for you to download and use. And then the reporting. Monitor the reporting, see what you're good at, see what's not happening, and grow from there. I think when I've been looking at various salons, various stylists that we do business with, or have conversation with, that we discuss ideas and what to do next and where they are. It's really interesting to see that growth and that interaction. Certainly in the digital aspect of social media, how they've gone from doing certain types of posts to shifting to another one. So the monitoring, reporting, and what is happening in terms of engagement is super fun to learn. So if we have any questions so far, Declan, I don't know if there's any questions. If you want to pop them up for me, if there isn't any, then that's fantastic. Hopefully everyone has a campaign of some kind to move forward with. But here's what I would like you to do. If you after today have at least one campaign for the rest of this year, minimum of one campaign, some kind of message that you want to share with your audience and your community for the rest of 2020, I think is going to be super important. So do at least one campaign starting now. And if someone tells me they don't have time in this lockdown, I won't accept it, and you might need to find another webinar where they help you with time management. I don't know. But there is really no excuse at this moment in time not to be able to come up with one campaign to do for the rest of this year. I am a big fan of follow a simple 5-point plan like this and do at least two at one moment in time, to two messages, two campaigns going alongside each other. I think that is really, but that's for me. Minimum of one, I think that's a non-negotiable. You need to have at least one. And remember, it doesn't take away this spontaneous posts and stuff you can do. You should still do those. And have two campaigns for 2021. You should be able to find the time, and however difficult planning is in the current climate and the current situation we're in, you should be able to find two campaigns that you want to be ready to kick off 2021 with. It's going to be super important. It's going to be the advantage you will have by planning these things now to essentially, I know it's not quite this easy, but to press a button and fire off a campaign in 2021, rather than coming into 2021 and realize you're going to be back in the salon in 2-3 days. The advantage you will have from that messages going out to your community, to your clients, to your new clients, is going to be tremendous. So do that. That would be my biggest recommendation after today. Using a 5-step plan, come up with a campaign. If you don't already have one, run that for 2020. Have at least 2 campaigns. A good idea for me, and I know Debbie said this on one of her webinars earlier, is because of the situation we're in and the difficulty of planning, she said, always write any ideas down on whatever you have, a piece of paper, a napkin. She's written a lot of napkins recently. I love that idea. And I think that is so true when it comes to campaigns. When you are sitting there watching TV and you see a commercial or you see something or whatever idea you might have, just write it down and have a list of ideas that coming into 2020, you have 2 campaigns to click the button and move forward. If you are in a salon and you're working on a team, this needs to be communicated. So I am sure you have Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, etc., where you communicate these things, to share that with them. Tell them, when we come back in 2021, we're running 2 campaigns. It's going to be new clients and it's going to be this service, whatever it might be. So that's my action plan for you guys. It's been nice to be with you this morning. I do want to highlight Debbie's webinar next Wednesday. So it's going to be episode number 4 in 6 of the best. So we are, we're halfway there today. It's going to be next Wednesday. It's again at 11 a.m. It's the 18th. And if you want to register, I think you all have, or you've already done it, you're on this one, but it's p4hpro.com. If you go on there and you register, it would be fantastic. We're looking forward to see you there. Has there been any questions, Declan? I don't know if Declan can hear me. I'm gonna, just before I say goodbye, I just want to make sure I haven't missed any questions. Right, Debbie saying here, follow each other on Instagram and share ideas. Someone once told me you can steal anything with your eyes. Absolutely. Reactive marketing, apart from some of the few very big companies like Apple, one of my favorites, very few companies do their own marketing. Reactive marketing is what I'm trying to say is happening all the time. Most companies do it. Plan in advance before we get back and you're too busy in December. Oh, absolutely. When you get back on December the 3rd, you're going to be just as busy, if not busier, as we were when we came back in July. The likelihood that you are going to come home after a day or do it before and plan your campaigns for January is very unlikely, because I know how it is. I don't cut hair, but we experience the same ups and downs as you do. When you are busy, we are busy. So I do appreciate the extreme amounts of clients you're going to do and how taxing is going to be on your mind and your body in terms of energy. So if you have this next few weeks, I think we've got 3 weeks left, isn't it? We've got 3 weeks left. You can come up with a campaign, guys. You can come up with a campaign following these 5 steps. And even if that campaign is somewhat, basic to a degree, but at least it's planned and is made with, it's been thought out to some degree, and you can grow from there. And having January ready before you kick off, I really recommend it. Don't fall behind. Don't try to come up with a January campaign on January the 15th or January the 20th. Have it ready. Click the button. You might even want to do some videos, some content during this moment in time to be ready. You might want to have a look at some emails that you want to send out in January. You want to come up with those now. So please do plan ahead. It's going to be very important. I think if we do any form of webinars, and someone saying they're so behind on their campaign, talking and market what you do to your audience and your community, if you say that you are behind on that on January the 17th, you will have yourself to blame, because however hard this lockdown is, there's an element of gift of time, and at least make that positive and take that advantage. So thank you for highlighting that, Debbie. Is there anything else, or is it just Debbie's comments in the question box? Can the team be briefed and primed on the salon campaign for increasing sales, upgrades, and retail before the return of them? Well, absolutely. If you're not keeping up to date with Zoom calls, or you maybe have a WhatsApp group, etc., absolutely you should brief the team. Whatever campaign you are currently running, will be running, you do need to brief them, and you should brief them. It's the right thing to do for the purpose of the campaign. It's the right thing to do for them. They need to know, and it's the right thing to do for your audience, that everyone is on the same page and everyone has a consistency in terms of dialogue and understanding why and the purpose of what we're doing. So absolutely. Right. So is there anything else on there, Debbie? Okay, I can tell it sort of turned into to a Debbie Pointers thing. That's fantastic. You should have your own box, and it should be blue. Right, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. I'm looking forward to see you guys on Wednesday at Debbie's webinar about team culture. It's going to be a really good one, and see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.